5 minutes. We're actually good now. You guys don't know how many times in rehearsal I knocked my water bottle over and I said I wouldn't do it during the show, but here we are. We're just being real up here, right? I want to thank you guys all for coming out. Muchísimas gracias a todos por haber venido al show. Mi nombre es Emily.
Yo soy profesor Cipriani, Frank Cipriani.
We're working on this project as part of the Monmouth University Summer Scholar Project, which is a around 2-month-long research grant from the university. And something really cool, I think, is that usually these grants are for a lot of STEM students, which is amazing. I mean, I could never do that. We have one guy who's like out on a boat. I think I get seasick, so I'd rather stay here. But I love kind of bringing the humanities into that and kind of showcasing a lot of our local community here at Monmouth, because you guys know we have a partnership with the Springsteen Archives, the official Bruce Springsteen Archives. So we actually have the help and the support of the official Bruce Springsteen Archives and Center for American Music, which is super exciting. Who knows? Maybe Bruce is on a live stream right now. Who knows? Maybe. You never know. So just a little bit about the archive. Archives and Center for American Music serves the official and other written works, plus photographs, periodicals, oral histories, recordings, films, artifacts related to Springsteen and the E Street Band. We went in to the archives. It was amazing, right?
It was really cool. You could see everything. It's like his personal pictures, the scrapbooks that his mother made for him when he was growing up. They're all there at the archives. They're about to move, which is really cool.
Yeah, so a little bit about that. In October 2023, it was announced that Monmouth University will be building a new 30,000 square foot building to house the archives, the Center for American Music, related galleries, and a 230-seat state-of-the-art theater. So maybe next time we'll see us in there. Designed by the acclaimed New York-based architectural firm Cook Fox, the building will be located on the campus of Monmouth University. The Bruce Springsteen Archives is a 501c3 and is raising all the funds for this project. In your programs, you have a link to springsteenarchives.org to see more of what the archives do. They do a lot of really, really great things. I like to say thank you to the curator at the archives, Melissa. She's been super amazing in helping us out, sharing the word about our show, everything like that. So if you guys do enjoy our concert, and I'm so happy we were able to put it on for free for you guys, but if you do want to support, we would love for you to go to springsteenarchives.org and support a little bit the Springsteen Archives, because they are doing really amazing work and it's a great opportunity for students here at the university. That being said, I hope you enjoyed that opening. In case you didn't realize, that was, first of all, 30 Days Out by Springsteen, of course. And then we mixed it up a little with a song called No Voy a Entrar by an Argentinian artist, Charlie Garcia. And a little bit about him. At age 7, his family actually suffered a severe economic downturn, which saw the closing of his father's business and a descent from the middle upper class. And I guess throughout this project of translating the songs and sort of doing this side by side of Springsteen and Latin American rock, we noticed a lot that both Springsteen and Charlie Garcia worked hard to avoid the military draft, interesting connection, and both were influenced by Bob Dylan's lyrics. What we knew about the connection between these two musicians was that both songs, was that the beats per minute were almost identical and they're actually in the same key. So when we saw it, we were like, what better time? And I think we might be the first people on the planet to do a mashup of those two songs. So there you have it.
So Charlie, if you're listening, si nos está escuchando, Charlie.
All right, we're going to bring up our musicians for our next song, Streets of Philadelphia.
One second. I just want to point out that this all is brought together by Emily. Like, I was sitting there on the side, but Emily did it all. She brought the musicians together, did all the arranging of the music, translations, program, everything is done through this great scholar. So it was beautiful.
Thank you so much. A big thank you to Professor Cipriani. He thinks that he hasn't done anything, but I couldn't have done it without him. No podría haber hecho nada sin el Professor Cipriani. Entonces, and thank you all for coming out. So we're going to welcome our talented musicians back for Calles de Philadelphia.
reconocí tampoco lo que sentí. Yo me vi, me dejaste así, viendo así, por los cosas de vida de la vida. De la vida hasta cansarme, las voces de los que no están. Por las noches susurran, de la lluvia al bajar, por las calles de vida de la vida. No hay alguien que me reciba, solo tú, solo el Señor. Y mi ropa me queda ya, y me de tan lejos para mojar mi piel.
1, 2, 3.
Sobre noche, desde mi alma desvanecer, hermano, beso en piel, dejaremos en la desolación de las cosas del día. There's a path on the street, the folks are looking where I go, fix their eyes. There's a lonely bench down the street, lonely one just like the man to my time. Those windows sit so high, looking it up, we can't see nothing but the sky. No one talks along my street. I hear for glass and glass and they just walk on by. To love here on the street, I might still see the pitch same tree where I once played. Something silent crawls along the street, upside of memories which pass away. Don't know why I stand here looking, or why I'm singing, or why I'm crying. Don't even know why I'm living, or why I'm lying, or why I'm dying.
All right, so I'm sure you guys recognize Streets of Philadelphia, Calles de Philadelphia. It's funny because while we were translating that song, my professor was reading the autobiography of Springsteen, and we learned that that song actually speaks of someone dying of AIDS at the time that it was written. That was a big epidemic in the U.S. And it talks about perhaps a lover that doesn't want to be outed at a time when such things could cost your career. So I think when translating these, it was really key to consider what was going on in either the U.S. or whatever country we're looking at, and consider cultural context. Because I heard this and I didn't get that meaning at all. And it's funny because when we actually first translated the song to Spanish, we said, "Oh, it sounds like this could be almost like someone who's immigrated," because it sounds someone who's lonely in a new city. And I think that it's very interesting the different cultural contexts that the songs can take on. That last song, En Mi Calle, beautifully sung by Tim, is by Silvio Rodriguez, who is a Cuban singer-songwriter, who, because of his ties to communist Cuba, is relatively unknown to the music market in the US at the time the song came out. Most of his songs can be read on a literal level, but beyond that, many other interpretations emerge. He often writes about the songwriting process, about death, about politics. So in that song, we started translating very literally, and as we went on, we were like, wait, is this about him being a ghost in a cemetery? Because in the original song, he talks about long white marble, and we thought maybe he means almost like a tombstone. And I think that's what's very interesting, is that when we're translating it, which meaning do we go with? Because as much as I wish that we could call him up and ask him, we had to use our best creative liberties and decide what meaning we thought was most appropriate. So it's a very interesting process. This next song is by Fabiana Cantilo. It's one of my favorites. I just had to sing it. I studied abroad in Argentina last year. I had the chance to take a music class there, and this is one of the songs that we sang, so I thought I'd throw this one in there. Enjoy. Didn't mean to hurt you now. Left you here, broke all the vows. All I know is I don't know how to shield you from my love. I just need to hear your voice, and I said I'd apologize. All I know is I don't know how to shield you from my love. hours pass by, nature absolutely sunset. Thinking of touching this one, doesn't let her shine. Tell me what will become of us when this life is behind us. Something waiting for, oh, I got a feeling. I let it run once and somehow nothing is forever. Nothing is forever. So don't tell me maybe that time is not here because nothing is forever. Only we can sit inside. Only we can leave this behind us. Oh, you know that I will know how to shield you from the world. Once again, made a mistake. Once again, put you in my way. Oh, you know that I will know how to shield you from the world. Oh, but life sometimes gives us a chance. Take her on the oh, we just to overcome without seeing reason. Yes, I'm thinking going, but I'm going somewhere. Something waiting up, oh, I'm feeling. I love that one sign, nothing is forever. Nothing is forever. Don't tell me baby, that time is not here because nothing is forever. God is like a secret. God is like a secret. Don't believe us alone. I'm not love for me, that's my oh, come back to me. I'm not so oh, come back to me. I'm not so Here's one y'all might recognize. Thunder Road. This was an especially hard one to translate because how do you say Thunder Road in Spanish? Like, I still don't know. We ended up going with Via Furor. So I think it sounds cool. Our Argentinian consultant, Joaquin, nos dijo que estaba bien Via Furor. He told us it was good. So if he says it's good, I think it's great. So maybe it'll catch on.
Puertas se cierran, su vestido se deja. Como una visión ella baila en el porche a la radio. Roy Orbison canta por los oídos y yo solo te quiero a ti. No me mandes a casa de nuevo, no puedo estar allí. No te escondas en la casa, ni sabes por qué vive. Tienes miedo y piensas que quizás ya no somos jóvenes. Confía en mí, me marques esta noche. No sé ya que pero sos mía. Hoy soy mía. Yo sé que no soy mejor para ti, pero esto está aquí la conseguí hacer una vez. ¿Qué más se puede hacer? Esta loca
All right, let's hear it for David on the saxophone. Amazing. All these talented musicians so kindly stepped up today to play for our performance, and I appreciate all of them so much, and I know you guys do too. This next song, I wore this shirt because this is by an Argentinian artist named Fido Paez. I actually saw him in concert. He's Argentinian. It's funny because I think I thought I would maybe see him when I went to Argentina, but turns out I saw him in New York, so unexpected, but he was amazing in concert. This is one of my favorite songs by him. This is actually one of the songs that I first learned about when I was first learning Spanish, so close place in my heart. And fun fact, same artist, Fido Paez, actually wrote the song that we sang before, which is Nada es para siempre. He actually also wrote that song, so those two artists work very closely together. He's a huge icon in Latin American rock, so cool to put him alongside Springsteen. getting to the end. That went so fast. It's like so much time of preparation. The first time we had this idea was back in, I think, January, which is super crazy. But I needed Professor Cipriani to do. He's a great musician, so I knew he had to play something. So I made him get up here, but he's gonna do great. Just don't look at him too much, so he doesn't get nervous. I want to say thank all of you guys. Thank you to all of you for coming out. I really appreciate it. We have so many people here on the live stream too. I'm so happy. I see comments coming in. I'm so happy to see all of you guys on the live stream. I know we have some people. Who knows? Maybe I got an email from the Springsteen fan club in Spain actually, so they might be watching. So super exciting, and maybe Bruce is watching. Entonces, muchas gracias a todos por haber venido. De verdad, lo aprecio un montón. Quería decir todo. Muchas gracias. I want to say thank you to Professor Cipriani for the big help with the translations. And for the whole thing. I want to say thank you to Joaquin. Gracias a Joaquin, que nos ayudó un montón con la letra, con las traducciones. He helped us a lot with the Spanish lyrics translating the Springsteen because there's a lot of hard and sort of very regional vocab in Springsteen. And I was really like, let's get someone in here who's straight out of Argentina to help us and let us know if this sounds right. And there were many things where he was honest with us and told us, we don't use that word or things like that. So it's been a learning process for everyone. De verdad, perdido un montón de vocabulario, de tantas cosas. Entonces, muchísimas gracias. And of course, all these musicians. Let's give a round of applause for all of our musicians. You guys have probably been waiting for one song to be played, and David told me actually that this song they wanted to make it be a New Jersey anthem, but they decided it wasn't good to have to say in our state anthem, it's a death trap, it's a suicide rap, and we gotta get out while we're young. So maybe not the right message, but I think at heart it is our New Jersey anthem. So thank you guys and enjoy Born to Run. Destinados a volar. Español. We have Tiffany on the guitar, Emmanuel, amazing on the drums, and David on sax, everyone. Thank you all so much. We were going to do a little Q&A session real fast in case you guys had any questions about what it was like to translate Springsteen, about the archives, anything. And people on the live stream too, you can monitor the live stream chat and we can have people in the live stream comment questions as well. So feel free to ask any cualquier pregunta que tengan que quisieran hacer sobre el proceso que podemos contestar. It's been an interesting process, so we would love to do a little Q&A, take a few questions, and people on the live stream have any questions as well.
And also, we're hoping you discovered some singers that you might really enjoy if you were,
Yes.
you hadn't heard of any of these people from Latin America. They do have things in common with Springsteen and these guys.
Yeah, they do, which is the surprising part. But then there are some things where we found out, maybe we can't Springsteenify this song because, maybe there's this very key cultural difference. Like you were talking about many things where it's like, they just don't have this equivalent in Latin America. And sometimes you have to take creative liberties and leave it where you can,
So the really important, interesting thing is that music diverges with Bob Dylan. Like Silvio Rodriguez is a kind of a really good lyricist that way, but something happens with Bob Dylan that changes them. So we're looking at lyrics in Spanish, and the number of lines is short versus what's happening with Springsteen in English. But like Springsteen was super influenced by Dylan. Like he was into Roy Orbison, he was into the Beatles, he was into Elvis, and then he heard Dylan. But really, what happens in Latin America? If you write like Dylan, you could be shot. So like in those days.
In the 70s and 80s.
In the 70s, like you have to leave the country to write like Dylan sometimes. Like even subtly, so you're running a risk. You have to hide your lyrics, and so there's a lot of interesting songs that come out of Latin America. Middle class people who, like in Charlie Garcia's case, his dad lost his factory. People who come from keyboards, and sometimes in Silvio Rodriguez's case, a child singer who learned through the Cuban Revolution how to play the piano, and eventually in the military. There's a huge military connection there between Silvio Rodriguez, who actually went and learned to play while he was fighting in Nicaragua, and Springsteen and Charlie Garcia. Charlie Garcia, who did crazy things to avoid the draft in Argentina, and Springsteen, who kind of suffered a huge motorcycle accident a year or two before his draft, and that got him out of Vietnam. So just an interesting tie-in at the time. And Springsteen and Charlie Garcia put out their first album the same year. And then Fito Páez is 13 when he starts his professional career. So he's younger than the two of them, but they started all around the same time, the early 70s. And crazy things were going on in Latin America at that time. So, but questions about translation would be really interesting, like Thunder Road, 3 syllables. How do you say that?
Yeah, that's the hard part is the syllabification because a lot of times you can say a lot more in English with 3 syllables than you can in Spanish. That's where you're struggling really. Bruce says like 5 different things in like 10 syllables, and in Spanish I have to pick like one of those 5 things to say in 10 syllables because I just can't fit all the words in. So yeah, it's been a really interesting process. I guess we'll do who thinks they discovered a new artist to listen to tonight, maybe. Woo! That's
Awesome.
the goal.
That's great.
All right. Yeah.
So the song that was most difficult to translate.
No, that one was light.
Nos costó.
Okay.
Yes.
Más difícil.
Which was the song that was?
I got a Springsteen anecdote.
Let's
Oh
hear
yeah,
it.
please.
Well, first we'll answer the question.
Yeah, well, answer
First we'll answer the question. The hardest one, I think, the problem with that is that, like I was saying, a lot of times the songs in Spanish during that time weren't as raw or as sort of specific and like emotional as, in a way, as the Spanish ones were, just because like I think a lot of the Spanish ones during that time were a little bit, they were a little like dreamy, a little bit, at the surface level.
Or they were revolutionary.
Well,
Like
yeah.
there was nothing.
The emotion was different, and when I translated into English, I struggled a lot to not make it sound cheesy, como que estaba sonando muy cursi. And that was the hard part. I think Alrededor Mi Vida was one that I translated a long time ago, a few years ago, and then I looked back and I was like, oh, Emily, like this was really cheesy sounding. So we edited a little bit, brought it up to date, and it takes a lot of rounds of drafts and editing.
But what about like at night we ride through mansions
of Glory, that was a hard
suicide
one.
machines.
Yeah.
That was like, we had to take that apart, put it back together again. So I would say that song was really so.
Thunder Road was the most, it went through hours. I would say we spent 5 hours at least total of time.
They talk about a carnival, the boys are like in the
Yeah.
mist and all that.
That's such an image. And then Joaquin was telling us that in Argentina, their carnivals aren't near the beach. He was like, what do you mean there's a carnival near the beach? Like, he didn't get this. So it took a lot, but let's hear a good Springsteen anecdote from Tristan Fabiani.
I'm a retired dentist, and I spent some time teaching at a dental school. And each of the students would have their own room where they would treat the patients, and they could play music in there. And I had this female dental student, and all she listened to was Springsteen all day long, nothing else. Nothing else. So finally I told her, you really should, it's great music, I love it. But you need to expand your musical horizons. And she said, I'm not interested in expanding anything. I'm interested in Springsteen. And then on the last day of school, she had to leave early because she had tickets to a Springsteen show, and it was the last day of school. So she left early and she checked into a hotel, or wherever she was going, she had to stay in a hotel. And she gets herself ready to go to the concert, and she walks out the door, and he's standing right there. Oh, I just thought it was cool.
That's great.
How many cavities does he have?
Yeah. All right, yeah.
Is there any chance that you all would do this again in a different context?
I would love to. Maybe when they open the new archives, Melissa, our amazing curator, she would give us a chance and sort of participate in their opening ceremonies. That would be amazing. That would be a dream for me. And there's no one else I'd rather do it. I think these musicians clicked so well. And they all came from different places. Some of them traveled from New York on like 3 different trains to get here. So we really appreciate them all. One thing
too, we wanted, our goal is to make this idea of the Museum of American Music writ large, like American meaning Americano, like from Canada to Tierra del Fuego, right, with the Islas Malvinas too. Like all of that area is America. So when they're going to open in America, it was really important to do this, to say that it's más, América es más que los Estados Unidos. Es mucho más ancho, mucho más largo, el continente. So we're trying to do that. We're trying to expand this idea of American music.
Amazing. And you guys are all here tonight because you've opened your minds to discover new music. So thank you for that. Let's get our musicians out here for one more bow. Let's get our amazing musicians back. Come back, come back. Come back, come back, musicians. Come back, come back. One more. Let's give you one more round of applause. One more bow. Thank you all so much. Have a good night. Thank you all. Muchas gracias.
¿Las fotos? ¿Tienes las fotos? Gonna say bye-bye.
Way to go.
Yeah. That was amazing.